So today we're going to talk about how to be secure in oneself. But what does that really mean? Well, one way to approach it is to look at what it means to be insecure. When we talk about feeling insecure, we tend to talk about things like having low self-esteem, not feeling good enough, feeling unloved and unworthy, and so on. So the things we feel insecure about are primarily centered around love and a personal sense of value. We feel that these are lacking, and even when we seem to experience them when they're offered to us by someone else, we worry that they won't last. In other words, we don't feel that we have truly secured these things. And the word secure means to possess something in such a way that it can't be lost or taken away, and so on. It means that you've got a permanent hold on it. But if you're depending on someone else to make you feel loved, to feel accepted, to feel worthy, and so on, then naturally there's the possibility that the other could stop offering these things to us. There's the possibility that as the source of our sense of love or worthiness, that the person could leave or be taken from us, which means, of course, that we would lose our sense of feeling loved. We would lose our sense of value. The reality is that if you depend on anyone to provide you with anything, there is always the possibility that they may not provide it. They might deny it to you, or take it away, or leave and take it with them, or what have you. And so to be secure in oneself means that you don't depend upon anyone to provide these things. It means that instead, you provide these things for yourself. It means that your sense of worth, your sense of value, your sense of being loved, and so on, all arise from within you, independent of anyone else, which means that no one can take it from you. This means that regardless of the situation, you can remain content, fulfilled. If you're in a relationship, or if a relationship comes to an end, or if you find yourself entirely alone, whatever the circumstance, nothing is lost in terms of your worth, your sense of being loved, and so on, because you're not relying on anyone else to provide it. And what this also means is that when you're in a relationship, there's no fear, no constant anxiety that this person might leave you, because really that fear is not so much about the person leaving. It's about not having these things fulfilled. It's about, if this person leaves, who's going to love me? Who's going to value me? Who's going to accept and appreciate me? So in order to be secure in oneself, you have to be that person. You have to begin by fulfilling these needs in yourself. You have to accept and appreciate yourself, to love yourself. You have to see the value in you and to honor that in yourself. And understand that this can take some time, because we're so conditioned to seek these things in others. So even if we understand that this is all available already within us, we may not immediately recognize it. Our habit is to look for it from others, to seek validation from others, to depend on others to love us, and so on. So it can take some practice to shift our attention in this way, from seeking outside to recognizing what is already available within. So really this has a great deal to do with shifting our perspective, our entire understanding of love and value and happiness, and so on. It has a great deal to do with recognizing the blockages within us, the false and limiting beliefs that we have about ourselves, the negative self-talk, the negative judgments, and so on. And to be able to relinquish these ideas, to let them go, to see through them, to recognize the fallacy in them, to recognize that our value is ultimately independent of anyone else's opinion or interpretation, to recognize that the love we're seeking from others is already available within us, that it lies hidden, buried under layers of negative self-judgment. And again, to go into all of this, to go within and see all of this, and to resolve these things in oneself can take time. It can take some practice to work through all of it piece by piece. It takes bringing the attention back to all of it over and over again. It takes looking at your insecurity, examining it, finding out what it's really about. And that can be very uncomfortable initially. This is why it tends to take so long, because whatever is uncomfortable, we hesitate to look at. There's a resistance to diving into it. So we tend instead to pick it apart little by little, which is fine. As long as we're resolving it, it doesn't matter at what pace, whether it's slow or quick. The point is that we're willing to go into it and see it for what it really is, and to discover what lies hidden beneath it. Ultimately, what we're after is that love which lies deep within us, at the core of our being. When we talk about loving ourselves, we're referring to that love which is already there, but is not being fully expressed because of the blockages that stand in the way of it. And when we talk of love, it must be understood that love includes patience and compassion and forgiveness. So with yourself, be patient and compassionate and forgiving while you're in the process of discovering all of this within yourself. Even to be able to forgive oneself simply for not understanding all of this, for not knowing any better, for whatever negative self-judgments we've been carrying. Just in that forgiveness, love is being awakened. If you find value in this content, be sure to like, share, and subscribe.